Welcome to another episode of FTU Life After the Military, and I'm your host, Tony Rodriguez. Hey, this is a Thanksgiving weekend, so I hope everybody's having a good time with their family, and hopefully you haven't eaten too much turkey and ham. But like I said, I hope that you're able to, just spend some time to decompress and just be happy, or as happy as we can be. Lately I've been talking about multiple things when it's just me, right? My daughter, she's pretty smart, and she's pointed out to me that I've been pretty hard on retired sergeant majors, and that's true. The reason for that is because the retired sergeant majors that I meet have not transitioned out of the military. Their mindset is still that they're a sergeant major, and they're not. And so if you're a sergeant major out there and you're retired and you don't fall into that category where you're still talking with the knife edge or still telling people to explain themselves or, issuing orders and commands. And if that's not you, I apologize. I didn't mean to lump everybody in the same group. So along with that, I also want to talk about my transition out of the military. So coming out, I had this mindset that I did not want to I did not want assistance transitioning out because I wanted to do it on my own. I didn't want to give the military any recognition for my success of transitioning out. The Army specifically seems to be, if you screw up, it's all your fault. But if you do something well, then, it's a team effort, or, your NCOIC or your OIC, they're the ones who reap the benefit and take the glory, I guess, for it, because they're the ones who trained you, they're the ones who mentored you, supposedly, right? So getting out, it's like no, nobody's going to get this. It's all me. I'm either going to fail completely on my own, or I'm going to succeed completely on my own. And so my transition isn't complete, but I'd like to think that I'm doing all right. But along with that, I know that I had this preconceived notion of retired officers specifically, right? Because I ran into a lot of them who would say that they're retired lieutenant colonel or retired colonel, retired general, right? And I found that a little just annoying and pretentious and obnoxious, right? But what are you going to do? That's just who they are. What I found, though, is that although they would introduce themselves to that, like with their former title, they were very willing to assist me. And in most cases, they would introduce themselves with their former title and never bring it up again. So I greatly appreciate that. And if I offended you, I don't think I did. And you know what? I'm not going to apologize for that, because I ran into too many people who were... I ran into a few people who were jackasses. So for those of you who are retired officers that I ran into and helped me, and were sincere with your efforts and your assistance, I just want to say thank you to you. And I also ran into some just people in general in the military who are retired, and they might have introduced themselves with their former rank. But then that's it. They don't really mention it anymore. So this podcast is about helping veterans. I know when it's just me, I seem to ramble on about multiple topics. But the one thing I wanted to bring up is I'm part of this one network, and I received this email from UMass Global, right? And it's titled "How to Translate Your Military Skills to a Civilian Resume." And it's a simple one pager, and it was pretty... I liked it. I didn't use it, but I see how it would be beneficial to people transitioning out. So again, if you go into Google and you just type in UMass, UMass Global, a nonprofit affiliate of the University of Massachusetts, and then, comma, how to translate your military skills to a civilian resume, it should pop right up, and it'll give you examples of military terminology, right? Advanced individual training, and civilian terminology would be advanced skills course. War college would translate to executive leadership school. Combined Armed Staff College would be Senior Management Leadership School. TDY, you could put in there as business travel, PCS, relocation, OER, NCOER, performance appraisal, right? Combat, would be hazardous conditions, conflict. Reconnaissance would be data collection, survey, analysis, regulations, policy, instructions. So like I said, it's just a one-pager, but I would highly recommend you looking this up. If you don't want to do that, you could just type in the website. It's umassglobal.edu/military-and-veterans. Or you can email me at arantoniorodriguez98@gmail.com, and I'll send it to you. Or DM me on Twitter or DM me on Facebook, and I'll send this right to you. All right, because that's what this podcast is about. It's about just helping each other out, right? Because a transition out of the military is difficult. It's as difficult as we want to make it, and it's as easy as we want to make it. So for people who haven't transitioned yet, when we leave, we're told, hey, you need to know what you want to do. But we're just so adept at doing so many things that it's pretty much just for me, it was identifying what I did not want to do. And even with that, I applied to jobs that I didn't particularly want to do, but I knew I just needed a job to fill my time, because I couldn't go from being full speed in the military to just stopping completely, because that would be just way too much downtime for me, and it would give me way too much time to I'd get bored. And, I have a drinking problem. I don't drink anymore, but if I had that much time on my hands, maybe I would. I don't know. So that's why I wanted to make sure I was working. So I would have taken a job that I didn't particularly want, just to hold me over, right? And I would continue looking for another job. So when we get out, everybody tells you have to know exactly what you want to do. It's like, no, you just have to have some idea of what you don't want to do and what you'll accept. Because I was willing to take a job, if it was just being, delivering mail or working for UPS, loading boxes, loading trucks, that would have been fine, because it would have given me something to do, and I could have found the job of my dreams later. Okay, that's what people don't understand, is like, we're going to get a retirement check, and if you file your VA claim early enough, you should get it, a month or 2 months after you retire. And so you'll have some income. So you won't be pressed to, find a job making $150,000 a year. Now, when you get out, also, just have some expectation management. I see on LinkedIn, I want to get on this topic of LinkedIn because, I was scrolling through, and some of the people that I have as connections on there, I was looking at their profiles. This one individual just took his what his duty description was from his NCOERs, and then he posted that onto LinkedIn, which is a way, you do whatever you want. That's your profile. You build it however you want. But nobody in the civilian sector in regular life understands any of that jargon. So my recommendation would be take that and use the website that I just plugged, and translate that military jargon into something that people actually understand. And then I get it, you wanted to explain to people that you saved the world, and every time you did a new job in the military, you saved the world over, right? You saved the galaxy, you saved the universe. You invented something, you were the first to do this. It's okay, but your job descriptions on LinkedIn can't be 10 pages each. It has to be a little brief, right? Because if I'm a recruiter and I'm looking for people to hire, if I'm going to go in and look at there, I don't have 10 hours to read how, you you cured cancer and you were able to split the atom at the same time. That's just ridiculous. So let's be a little realistic here, and let's just try to focus on what our objective is. Like if you're trying to be the sergeant major of the universe and that's all you want to be, then have at it. Expand on your military career, your military experience, and just go for it. That's for you. It wasn't for me, so I changed mine up. Secondly, the whole expectation management. I see this from officers a lot where they're on LinkedIn, and yes, I understand you have 25 to 30 years of experience in the military, and maybe you retired as a colonel or a general, but you're getting out and you want to be a CEO. And yes, I know you're going to say, well, I'm qualified for that. Okay, sure. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I don't know. But I don't know how many places are going to hire you just coming out of the military because you were a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star general. You know, that I bring up that gentleman that was talked to us from the Onward to Opportunity. He was a retired 2-star. He got hired into a high position in a hospital. I forget what it was. So there's a difference, though, because he was an actual medical doctor. The majority of generals retiring from the military are not doctors. He's the exception. He's not the norm. We need to understand that. Okay, so just have expectations. I get it. You're used to commanding divisions, right? Well, when you get out, you're not, and people aren't going to bend over backwards, or, you know, when you come down, walking down the hallway, it's not going to be like, you know, you're partying the Red Sea. Like, I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less about your rank. So just have expectation management. And the last thing I want to talk about LinkedIn is, so I see a lot of people on there who they're trying to build their brand. They're talking about inspirational stuff and how to work-life balance and how to disconnect and how to do all this stuff. For the majority of the people on there, what I've seen is they're all selling something. There was this one individual there that she was selling something. I forgot what it was. And I clicked on it to see, right? Well, it was like this workshop, a week-long workshop, and she was charging $5,000 for it. And the description was talking about, you know, being able to relax and concentrate and meditate and then focus, so then you can elevate your mind so you can get onto the astral plane. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't care about any of that. Like, I get it. Like, you're trying to build your brand and make some money. But I'm not going to pay you $5,000 so you can tell me that I was Abraham Lincoln in a previous life, or I was Montezuma, the leader of the Aztecs who, lost to the Spaniards. I'm not going to pay you so you can tell me some nonsense that isn't going to help me. And what I found is there are a lot of people on LinkedIn that are like that. But, you know, that's just my opinion. So you judge for yourself. I have a few self-help books, and they're usually most all the same. It's people just telling me, you know, prioritize, and, you know, don't worry about what other people think. And, that one book, The Art of Not Giving an F, right? And these are things like, really, like, I figured this out like when I was 15. Like, this is just a bunch of nonsense. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've said it before, is I'm writing a book, right? It's my memoir, and talking about just being a young kid in East LA and thinking I was poor and thinking I had struggles, and I didn't. I was never poor. I was basically born with the silver spoon in my mouth. I just didn't realize it. It was easier to tell myself that I was a victim. But that's never been the case. Again, I'm the luckiest person on the planet, and now I know that, right? But I dug a hole for myself, with my drinking problems, and then just hating myself, just downright hating myself. So I'm writing a book, right? And it should be out next summer. Now, once it's complete, I'm hiring an editor. That's going to be about $2,000. And then, once, it gets edited, then I'm going to self-publish. I'm going to put it out on Amazon, and I'm going to try to get it loaded to Barnes& Nobles as well. And I'm not going to charge. It's going to be one of those books where you can just download for free. Now I'm going to try to get it in print too. I'm going to try to print off 200 books because I can't imagine too many people are going to want to read this. So I figure if I order 200 books, I have about 10 people who said that they want to read it. But so that'll just leave me with, I guess, 190 books in my garage, right? But I'm going to fort that bill. And that's going to be, I don't know, about 10 grand. And yeah, I know that sounds insane, right? But, I have people who are, buying luxury cars, going out, buying boats and buying second or third house. I don't, I retired. The house that I have now, it's a small house, but this is where my kids were raised, and I don't want to move. I don't need a bigger house. Even when I finally retire to Yap, still going to have this house so I can come back whenever I want. So my goal is just to get this book out, and just to, if you want to read it, you can have it for free. Just tell me where to ship it and I'll ship it to you, or you can download it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and it'll be yours. Because if we're trying to help each other, then it should be genuine. You should generally want to help someone. It shouldn't be some sort of, I'll help you out for the low price of $39.99. It's like, come on, get out of here, dude. Like, I'm not going to take you serious. All right, so that's where it's going with that. Now, I also want to let everyone know that once I'm done with my PhD program, I am going to try to publish my book on leadership. But that book I am going to try to sell to colleges, right? Because I have 22 years of leadership in the military, and I'm gaining leadership experience at my work. And by the way, my PhD is going to be in leadership, global leadership. So why not write a book? But I'm not trying to make any money off of the average person. I'm going to try to make money off of the universities. Because why not? They're making a lot of money off of me. So why not make some money off of them? So with that, I'd like to extend an invitation to anybody who's been out there, who served the military, who has, whether it was a day or whether it was 32 years, I especially want to extend an invitation to retired sergeant majors, not active duty sergeant majors, but retired sergeant majors, because I'd like to hear how you transitioned and how you were able to give up the rank, or if you were not able to give up the rank. I'd like to hear that. My daughter has said, she's reminded me multiple times that, hey, Dad, you're being kind of rough on them. You're like crushing them, and you're not giving them an opportunity to present themselves. So I'd like to afford any retired sergeant major, any E9s out there, the opportunity to come on. And again, this is not scripted. This is not like the Jerry Springer show or Maury Povich. I'm not the TMZ of podcasts. It's a pretty simple format. I play my intro music. I do my introduction, a slight introduction of you, and then I just hand it over to you, and you talk about whatever you want. The only rule I have is limit your cursing and no F-bombs. That's it. That's pretty simple. Well, I would say it's pretty simple, but you'd be surprised at how many people come on here, and then all of a sudden the first thing they want to do is just start dropping F-bombs. Which is fine. I can edit it out as long as it's a reasonable amount of F-bombs. If you're dropping 50 F-bombs in 30 seconds, it's like, we're going to have to do it over again because that's just too much. So again, if you'd like to be on here, just let me know. Email me again at arantoniorodriguez98@gmail.com, or DM me on Twitter, or DM me on Facebook. I also saw that I don't know if the Marines were really excited to hear another Marine on here, or if it was just Julian. Julian has a lot of friends, but I noticed that his episode received a great deal of downloads within the first day. So if you're a retired Marine and you'd like to be on here, please just reach out and let me know. I'd love to hear your story, because we all have a story to say. We all served our country, and we, if you went to combat 20 times, or if you never went to combat, you did what your country asked you to do. You did what your country asked you to do. And, that's all you can do. You can't do more. Like if your country doesn't deploy you, what are you supposed to do? Just stow away on an aircraft or a ship and go on your own? That's insane. So again, if you're a veteran, you retired, you want to talk about your military experience, if you just want to talk about, if you open a small business and you want to get on here and just promote your business, by all means, let me know and we'll have you on here. The only thing is, if you're promoting your business, it can't be some crazy pyramid scheme, because we're not here to take advantage of veterans. So I don't know about everyone else, but the holidays I usually get a little down. My parents both passed away. My eldest sister, she passed away. And, around the holidays, I start thinking about like just the time I wasted, the time that I was away, with my daughter. By the time she went to college, I had missed easily 6 years of her life. And then I don't know how many other days, months, or years I missed just from drinking. So during the holidays, I get a little down. And so, I just want to let everyone out there, if you're hearing this and you're feeling down, reach out to someone. You can reach out to me. Again, DM me on Twitter or Facebook, or email me at arantoniorodriguez98@gmail.com. Reach out to a friend. Just don't be alone. Don't this time of year, for some reason, it can be hard. But we sacrificed a lot for our country, sacrificed a lot for our family. Whether the country and our family know it, that doesn't matter. We know it. We know what we've sacrificed. We sacrificed our mental, our physical, our emotional health. And, we deserve to be happy. We deserve to live a long life. So reach out. You're not alone. You're never alone. And please. So I mentioned that I've lost a little bit of weight because back in the pandemic, I ballooned up to about 218 pounds, and I'm only 5'7", right? And, I've always had some muscle on me throughout my military career, but even still, 218, that's way too much. That wasn't a whole lot of muscle. There was a lot of fat on there. And so I've trimmed down to 185, and I'm feeling pretty good. And yesterday and today, I had quite a bit of ham. And so, but that's it, I didn't indulge in, crazy desserts or anything. It was basically just ham, some mashed potatoes yesterday, and today it was just ham. And, that's all right, because we're allowed to enjoy life. But like I said, I know my health, just my genetics lean for me to develop type 1 or type 2 diabetes, or type 2 diabetes, and every form of cancer known to man, and heart disease. And so, I have to watch what I do, what I eat, and that's okay. That's a small price to pay. But losing those 30 pounds took 2.5 years, right? And even with drinking, it took, 10 years. Completing my education took 16, 18 years. And the whole point of this is we all want to improve, right? What I've been preaching on here, progress, not perfection. Well, there's no miracle pill. There's no quick fix. There's no fast way to get where we want. We just have to keep practicing, and we might trip and fall, but you just pick, dust yourself off and pick yourself up, and you try again. I mean, how many times did I try to quit drinking? I don't know, 50, 100 times. I'd go dump out my 6-pack, and all right, today's the day. I'm not going to drink again. By the next day, I'm off buying a case of beer because what am I doing? Am I stupid? It's and so it took a while. It took 10 years, but you work at it and you eventually achieve your goals. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. And like I said, you've heard these podcasts. I stutter a lot. I have a lisp. I have because of my 5 concussions, I'll lose track of what I'm saying. And I've had professors tell me that I shouldn't be in college, and, I shouldn't be in a graduate program, and that's fine. I get it, but I'm not that 18-year-old kid in East LA anymore that's going to listen to somebody. It's like I I don't care. I know what my goals are, and I'm going to achieve them one way or the other. I'll get there if I have to crawl my lazy butt across the finish line. I'm going to get to my goals. Like my grandbaby and my daughter said, just be a champion. Go out and be a champion. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I encourage you, everyone else out there. Just whatever your goals are, like go achieve them. Don't worry about what anybody else says. Take care of yourself. We're important. If you just want to just stay home and just do chores around the house, or just work on your motorcycles, if you can afford that, then by all means. Again, I ask that you go out and help out our brothers in the community who might need a little bit of assistance. With that, I joined the VFW, and they asked me to take on a little bit to help out in the organization. I said sure. So the only problem with that is I have to log into the VFW website, and so for the past 2 weeks I've been trying to easily each day spent like 2 hours trying to log in, resetting my password. And you would think that logging into this website, like I'm accessing some super top secret information. It isn't. It's like it's just the VFW website. So I had to tell the head guy at my post, like, hey man, like I'm willing to help out or do whatever you want, but I'm not wasting one more second on logging on to that website, because it was stressing me out and it was taking a toll on my mental health. And you say, well, how could that be? It's like, if it's just minimal, just a tiny bit, that's too much. It's too much for me. How much am I willing to accept? How much stress am I willing to accept? I'll tell you, none. Not if I'm volunteering my time free of charge. Zero, absolutely zero. Like I'll go out and I'll help our brothers and our sisters out in the community. But let's be honest, I don't need the VFW for that, and I don't need the American Legion for that. I don't. I'd like to do it because it's helping them out, and I know there are organizations that help our brothers and our sisters out. And I'll do whatever they need me to do, except this, as long as it's not causing me any stress. And you can say that's a little selfish. It's like, yeah, it is, because I have to put my health first. We all have to put our health first. We're important. We're retired. We're no longer a number. Okay. And we all have to understand that. We are important. Our health is important. Okay. So if you can help, please help. If it's going to cause stress on you, then don't. Find something, if you need to go take Tai Chi lessons in the park, then do that. If you want to take ballroom lessons, dancing, then do that. Find something that'll help you relax. Like I said, Drew, I don't know, I think he has like 10 or 15 cars that he's trying to build all at once. And so, that relaxes him. He likes to ride his motorcycle. Then, I had Julian on here who said that he likes to ride his motorcycle too. So evidently that seems to be something to do, right, to relax. I'm not going to lie, I want to buy my motorcycle, but it's going to be an India motorcycle. So that's just my little short episode for Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgiving weekend. Again, I just wanted to get out and just, invite you to come on if you'd like to be on. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's been listening. It seems we've had a few more listeners in the Midwest, Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, Iowa. I had some down further in the South, Louisiana, Oklahoma. Got a Montana out there. Julian, thank you very much. It seems like all of your Marine friends throughout the world decided to download your episodes. So thank you for that. And just remember, you are important, all right? You are special. You do matter. Please take care of your physical and your mental health. If you need anything, just email me again at arantoniorodriguez98@gmail.com. If you'd like a sample resume, let me know, and I'll send you my example of my federal resume and my example of my regular resume, and I'll send it to you directly so you don't have to work from scratch. All right? So until next time, Take it easy. Talk to you later. Zot, zot, zot. And roll tide.